Hey everybody, it's X, and welcome back to the Lorwyn Eclipsed Collector Booster Box Arena Direct. You all know the drill by now. Best of one games of Lorwyn Eclipsed sealed, trying to hit 7 wins before only 2 losses. Some high risk, high reward stuff if we can get to that collector booster box. But even the best players in the world are going to get hit hard by variance in an event like this. So without further ado, cross our fingers here, see if we can't get pretty lucky on this one. And let's see what we get to play with today. All right, so we got some blue-white stuff here. We have an Oko as well as Sig in blue, then Adept, Water Shaper, and Slumbering Walker in white. So we could do some blue-white Merfolk nonsense, although Oko is way stronger when you have access to green as well to flip the Oko. Start spitting out those Elks and picking up permanents from grave. Yeah, Oko really is a blue-green multicolored spell. You don't really want to play Oko with only blue. There's Goliath Daydreamer, which if you have a lot of good instants in sorceries is pretty gnarly. Recasting those over and over. But Shadow Urchin doesn't do much. Harmonized Crescendo is a bit expensive, especially in Sealed, where we're not likely to have a ton of one specific creature type. Bloodline Bidding is also really expensive, but can often win the game when it resolves, especially if you're like an elf deck where you have a lot of those self-mill elves that help with this card. Yeah, there's pretty cool stuff here, but it's spread out amongst the colors enough that it is going to be quite dependent on the commons and uncommons. We do have a Changeling Wayfinder and a Foraging Wickermaw for fixing in any deck that we play. If we specifically play green or red, we also have Noggle Robber giving us treasures. We did get an Elf Lord for a reason to maybe want to play Golgari, and that is it for the multicolored stuff. Some other decent hybrid cards. But nothing drawing us in a particular direction. Okay. So let's check out all our colors. So first and foremost, in white, we have decent removal, strike, spiral, and keep out, as well as some okay creatures. The creatures aren't great because the mana curve's quite bad. But we have a really good 3-drop with the Water Shaper. The Vaulters and the Dune Guard are pretty filler. The Graspling shouldn't be in here. The Vaulter and the Dune Guard are pretty filler. The Water Shaper and Slumbering Walker, though, having both of those in the same color is really impressive. And of course, having good removal spells means this could be a good support color if we have a different primary color that has more good spells than this. I think, yeah, we would want white to be the secondary color ideally so that we can run less of the filler stuff. Check out our blue now. Here in blue, we have a high quantity of cards, which includes some interaction, Temporal Cleansing and Blossom Bind for removal, and a Wild Unraveling for a counterspell. We have a lot of 2-mana creatures, which is also good. If we specifically go blue-white, the Gravelgale Scoundrels actually do play really well with the 3-mana cards we had in our white deck, the double Tributary Vaulter. We can tap to give the Scoundrel unblockable, and then also because they're tapped, we'll give +3 power, so boom. Hit with a 3 power unblockable Vigilant Threat every turn. Yeah, blue-white actually does look relatively synergistic, and the colors fit well together in terms of the curve. Blue having all the 2-mana stuff, and white filling out the other gaps, filling out the 3-mana slot and the high mana value finishers. I do like the look of blue-white quite a bit, even if we don't really have too many cards that specifically care about the blue-white color pairs strategy. Like, there's not a lot here that cares about Merfolk. Even Sig, being a Merfolk rare, doesn't really care what your card types are. But just looks like a good mana curve, good amount of removal. Blue-white does not look bad at all. Next up, let's check out our black here, where we get Shadow Urchin and Bloodline Bidding for power. There's no self-mill here. We didn't get any of the 2-mana 2/2 lifelink elf that mills 2 when it enters. Our creature types are a little bit scattered as well. There are, let's see, 6 goblins, 2 elves, and an oof. So things aren't looking great for Bloodline Bidding, I will say. But we have good removal with 2 copies of Bog Slither's Embrace. It's quite nice. Black looks fine, but doesn't look like Bloodline Bidding is going to quite get there. How about the red now? Red is really awkward mana curve again. 1 2-mana card. That 2-mana card is a Flame Braider to help cast higher mana value elementals early, like the double Kolrath Zealot, so that's pretty cool. But there's going to be like 3 other elementals in the deck, a Guild Weaver and double Zealot. Then it's like a Goblin, a Giant, more Goblin stuff. Is there a good black-red Goblin deck here? There's an okay black-red Goblin deck here. We have a decent amount of Goblins to try to get Berserkers to be somewhat large, but we don't really have any of the like good payoffs, just the common ones. There's 1 bidding, I suppose. If we go bidding on Goblins, but that's still 9 Goblins, 3 Changelings. If we run every single one, including the most filler ones, that's also counting a Chitness Graspling that's not in here, in red-black. I mean, we could play a very mid-Goblin deck if we want, but I just feel like why would we do that over the blue-white deck that actually has strong rares and a better mana curve? That's pretty much what I'm getting out of the red here. It's fine, but I think we can do better in this sealed pool. Last and maybe not least, let's see what our green looks like. If our green's really good, we could go green-blue to get Oko in here. So what do we got? It's another color that looks fine. This Mythic's not that great. You have to have multiple creatures of the same type to actually do the Behold thing and put your card right onto the board, which isn't something our sealed pool looks particularly good at doing. We do have a few changelings to help it, though. Prisma Bash is a good top end. Council's good card draw. There is a Pitiless Fist for removal. It's a collection of solid creatures here. It's not a bad color. Is blue-green better than blue-white, though? What do we gain from being in green versus what do we gain from being in white? So by being in green, we have Oko. We have the back half of Oko as well, which is pretty nice. Curvin getting some sig damage in, but that's just the blue stuff in general. A little better top end with Council and Prisma Basher, I guess, versus playing white. White looks a little quicker and still has a very reasonable top end. Still has a Slumbering Walker reanimating our early stuff. We've got a lot of flyers here too. We can just try to fly over board stalls. Glamour Might's Vaulter's Unwelcome Sprite. Sig is completely unblockable. Everstrike's Gift onto somebody. I really like the idea of the blue-white flyers build here. But is there any reason to splash into one color or another? If I play green, I have Noggle Robber, which helps splash into the other color. So if we went like blue-green, could we splash into white? I guess for Water Shaper. Not really for Slumbering Walker, since that requires double white. So that would be okay. Yeah, that would be fine. If we play white, what would we splash into green for? That actually could be reasonable. If we go blue-white, we are also going to have the colorless Changeling that picks up any land from our deck. And Oko's castable without the green mana. So we could really just run 1 or 2 forests, playing Changeling, Wayfinder, and Wickermaw for Oko. Because again, Oko's not going to be good when we don't hit green, but still playable. We'll have no cards in the deck that actually require the green mana to be cast. Now it's a borderline free splash. We do have to make our mana base a tiny, tiny bit worse, because we need to run a forest for the Wayfinder. But then I have 3 green sources, 1 Wickermaw, 1 Wayfinder, 1 forest for the 1 Oko. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. We'll run the blue-white flyers build with a little Oko splash. We're on 21 creatures right now. We want to run every single Merfolk for the Gravelgill Scoundrels. And every flyer. I don't have a whole bunch of 4-mana or greater cards. I still feel like Rhyme Speaker could be okay. Graspling is also a Merfolk, but it's the worst Merfolk we've looked at here. This is 19 creatures now. Might have to cut some of the 3 or 2 mana creatures. To be the most consistent kind of tempo aggro deck here, I really feel like we actually just cut Wayfinder and Wicker Maw, which would mean just dropping Oko. Right, because our hands that want to curve out and get that flying damage and try to outrace our opponent are going to be really, really sad when we draw a Wicker Maw or a Wayfinder instead of like a 2/2 flyer. What does Oko do without green mana? Not much. Fogs. Just keeps giving -2/-0. Can turn things into changelings forever. It's kind of cool, but not massively relevant. All right, I'm going to drop the fixing in the Oko stuff and try to go for the tempo. And that's 17 creatures now. Just play all cards that affect the current board instead of holding up a counter spell when I get a lot of 4, 5, and 6 mana creatures to still play. Just be a tap out kind of aggro deck rather than holding mana up. This looks good to me. Not incredible, but solid. Really consistent, which I like. Yeah, I think I like this deck here. Let's go for some evasive threats. See if we can't sneak past our opponent's blocks and get a bunch of damage in. We will call it a deck here and hop into the gameplay. Here we are for our opening hand for game number 1. It's a mono-colored hand. We've had a lot of those in this Arena Direct already. 9-8 split pretty much every time. Well, I mean, I think we keep it. We've got Gravelgill Scoundrel on 2. If we hit the white source, the Vaulter to go with the Scoundrel's incredible. And if we hit any lands, the Wellguard to go with it's incredible. We keep it. First draw of the game is a 3-mana blue spell, so if we hit any lands in the entire deck, we do have a 3/4 curve. There's Deep Channel Duelist from our blue-white opponent. And first draw of the game is a 5-drop, but it has Convoke. Get 1 free point of damage in here. And there's the Reluctant Doomguard. And there's a white spell. And the Festival to immediately make the Kithkin a full 4/4, removing all the counters. And there's our white source. So if we Pyrrhic Strike, we can kill the Festival and the Guard. And that's going to make the Scoundrel a 0/1. I still think Pyrrhic Strike is our best play. I mean, I could Spiral into Solitude on their Guard. I think I want to have a way to clear out the Duelist as well later. Let's pass through and see what they do here. I guess the problem is if I pass through, they could activate. Oh my god! Arena does not like me today. That is Kin Binding, one of the strongest rares in the entire set. Well, we have the Pyrrhic Strike. Unfortunately, they're going to get in for 4 here, because now I'm definitely blighting pre-combat before that triggers. Which means I won't have a relevant blocker held up. So we'll take 4 damage. from everybody else. Go to 12. Okay, 4th mana is very good here. If I just spiral the Duelist, they're down to just the 1/1s now. But I could Sky Swimmer off the Convoke, or I could just cast Wellguard and make a 1/1 here. Just start working on making a bunch of 1/1s. But then I just have a single 1/1 up on blocks. I'd rather play Sky Swimmer. I need to focus on blocking first, then I can set up for the big value. Yeah, I'm just going to be entirely focused on blocks here. Let's drop the Sky Swimmer. There's their own Pyrrhic Strike on the Sky Swimmer, so I'm down to just a 1/1, and then there's a Gravelgill Scoundrel to go with the Deep Channel Duelist. Trade into a 1/1, take 3, go to 9. Unwelcome Sprite here. Sprite's big enough to trade into their Duelist, and I don't think they want that trade, so I'm interested in Sprite plus Spiral on Scoundrel instead of Duelist. If I Spiral the Duelist, I guess Scoundrel does go down to just a 1/3 by itself, but it's got a lot of cards they could draw into that would be really bad for me, but I suppose so does the Deep Channel Duelist. Say they draw into a Sky Swimmer and I haven't killed the Deep Channel Duelist, that'll be pretty awful. But I would have to Spiral and activate Spiral immediately and then just take 2 next turn. Because if I let them keep Duelist out, that'll still buff the... Oh no, it just gives it unblockable. It doesn't actually buff it. Never mind. I wouldn't have to... Okay. Yeah, Spiral on Deep Channel Duelist, play the Unwelcome Sprite. The plan is obviously to blight away the Deep Channel Duelist eventually. But I could just take the 2 unblockable this turn, that's fine. Make another Kithkin. Play a Summit Sentinel, sure. They hit us for 3 this turn, actually, because they can also send in the 1/1 Kithkin. Yes. Okay. Okay, and once I exile Deep Channel Duelist, they can't give that Scoundrel unblockable anymore. It's a good draw. I mean, I'd rather have hit the 5th land, but that does mean I get to do something while blighting. I want so badly to keep this Scoundrel, but I have to kill Deep Channel Duelist. And the fact that this has power and toughness to actually trade into one of their 1/1s is a huge deal. But man, the Scoundrels go with the Wellguard. That's a bummer. But I can't let them keep Deep Channel Duelist here. Man, we need to get some high toughness out. Oh, Scoundrel doesn't even care about Merfolk specifically, it's just any creature? Yikes. That's actually gnarly with Festival. I can't hit lands. Guess I get to Surveil too with Glamour Might here. Take way too much damage, there's no life gain. Top deck Pyrrhic Strike, why not? Double Pyrrhic Strike there too. Man, guess I'll die, Arena. Guess I'll die. I mean, I guess I could have killed Scoundrel instead of the Lord, but as we were saying before, the Lord makes so many of their draws much worse for us. Don't really expect the blue-white Merfolk Lord and then them to have like only one other Merfolk. But like even if I killed Scoundrel instead of Lord, it's still a bunch of creatures coming at me, especially with the festival. We were just not finding mana. I mean, if we could get in a spot where we kill the unblockable creature and just get like a 3/4 down, but then they had the Pyrrhic Strike, I mean, it just feels like it was really rough draws there. 0-1 heading into game 2. Here we are for game 2 on the play. Dawn Blessed Pennant will start things off for our opponent on Elves. Here's our Water Shaper to start off. Green-white from our opponent. And there's a Changeling, which does count as an elf. Here's Rhyme Speaker Pass. The Water Shaper doesn't give itself indestructible. There's Changeling Wayfinder. Slumbering Walker can reanimate Rhyme Speaker if it ever dies. Probably lead with the Celebrant here. I'm not going to trade Rhyme Speaker off, because I still like draw a card the turn I play the Walker too, if Rhyme Speaker is still on the board. So let's go Celebrant. Do I have any 1-mana cards in this deck? I have a 1-white mana card. So I'll hold up for that if I draw it. We did not. But now we got the 5/6 on the board, drawing a card off Rhyme Speaker. Dream Caesar. Ditch land 6. Ditch Unwelcome Sprite wouldn't be crazy, then we just play the Walker, reanimate it. This being Vigilance is actually a nombo with the Water Shaper, which is kind of funny, but we'd still kill 3/2 and a 4/2 with it. And it's not a bad exchange. Cool. Put them down to 20. And we'll go Vaulter and Sprite here. Let's trade off the Unwelcome Sprite aggressively. There's Eulogist, mill a couple cards and gain a couple life. Well, mills a Wistfulness and another Wayfinder. I don't have to remove counters from Walker, so I'll still play it to draw a card. Drawing Silvergill Mentor, not castable yet. I guess the 2/4 just runs into the 3/3s. There's not really a reason to send that one in. Unless they just don't block. Then I guess we get extra damage from it. I could hold this land in case they have another Eulogist. But I think I'm fine for now. There's Gathering Stone. The big card draw engine looking for elves. Mills a green-white duel, and then they play Morkant's Loyalists. Gain a life. Alright, I'll hold on to the 7th land. Behold, the Tributary Vaulter. I'm just flunging. They played around something last turn. Or I guess they just misplayed. I attacked with all because it seemed like because they blocked weirdly last turn, they might have been expecting some kind of trick from us to where maybe we push extra damage by sending everybody in like this. But we don't. They play around nothing this turn. Mill a Dream Caesar. Get a 1/1, flip, get mana, flip back, get a 1/1, flip, get mana. Okay. Every other turn, they'll get another 1/1. Basically it. The Pennant brings back a Wayfinder. Just playing more chumps. At this rate, we just blossom behind the flyer, I guess. They've cast everything in their hand. Hitting for 3 a turn in the sky. A 3-turn kill if we Blossom Bind Dream Caesar. Feels worth it. Now we can send in an Indestructible Silvergill Mentor every turn too. For a 4-power creature. Oh, we can send the 5/6 as well. These would actually kill things on a block. What if I Glamourmite to tap my own Celebrant to save it from a double block? Is that actually good? It's really cute that I can do that, but it's likely stronger to just wait so that I could Glamourmite to tap a reach creature or a flyer if they draw into one. I'm very tempted. Alright, I'll just do it. Kill the highest toughness card to make it easier to open up attacks with other creatures. Draw Mist Meadow Council, draw a card. Play a Virulent Emissary, gain a life every time somebody plays a creature. Oh, whenever they play a creature. But this is lethal, it's 5 damage. Okay. That is 1-1 heading into game 3. Alright, here we are for game 3. We're on the place, it's okay, our curve doesn't start till 3. Not exciting, but it's okay. We have both of our colors, and the way we've drawn throughout this Arena Direct, we don't mull those hands with both our colors. Unless they're like a 6-lander or something. Shimmer Wild's Growth on white. Our opponent's on green, red, white so far. We've drawn no lands so far. All 4 5 mana cards. So, we are desperate for our next draw to be a land. Or we're just stuck. Wow. Alright, well, we're stuck. Tributary Vaulter and pass. Does mean a Sky Swimmer can get cast off of Convoke. But we would really like to play Rhyme Speaker before that. I could have Pyrrhic Striked actually their mana and their farmer. But if I did that, because I'd have to Blight in order to kill both, I would sack the Glamourmite. They're going to get to play 1 big card, but then I can Pyrrhic Strike 2 things here. Because now I can Blight onto the Vaulter and still have it on the board for its ability, which could be relevant. Yeah, we've just got a way better place to Blight now. Never mind. Explosive Prodigy. Which still would have done 3 damage even if I blew up the grotto. Because the Wary Farmer is also a white card. We draw no lands, so I can sack my board to kill Farmer and Grotto, or I could kill just Grotto and pass, but they didn't even use the 5 mana last turn. It's probably still better to hit for 2 than stop 1 from Prodigy, but I'm very unhappy right now the way we're drawing. We don't have many options. Okay, if they're going to tweeze that, then actually we're goated. Things just went from super bad to actually that's a good deal. You love to see that tweeze. Wow, do you love to see that tweeze. Well, there's the Pummeler that they probably just top decked or they would have just played it last turn. Our draw is a Gravelgill Scoundrel. Take 4, go to 12. Sixth draw of the game is our first land draw, baby. They have multiple 4-power creatures out now. I mean, all I can do is play Graspling to keep the council off of us. I can't set up for Rhyme Speaker value without just getting annihilated right now. Brambleback Brute to shut off our only relevant block. I chump, that's one less card to convoke with for like Celebrant or something, but then like they shut off the Celebrant if I convoke everybody to have 1 blocker up. I mean, I could chump next turn too. Or instead shut off 1 blocker. Shut that off, 1/3 and a 2/4 up. Chump, go to 3. Cleansing that. Block. Take 4 and die. And I go to like trade, Trump, take 2 total, getting trampled over. Alright. Well, we had to draw a land before draw number 6 of the game. I don't see any route that recovers from here. This game was a 3-land opener, and it just drew all 4 and 5 mana spells and no lands. That is just how the cards fall on this one. Well, that's Magic for you. 1 and 2 it'll be. Get our little bit of bad luck out of the way there. Just super bad draws today is all I can say. I don't think our sealed pool was great. I think this was a very reasonable way to build it, but we had some awful draws there. We drew Hurler, Sky Swimmer, Celebrant, Graspling, Rhymespeaker, and Cleansing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of the 8 4-mana or higher cards in the whole deck. instead of lands. 6 out of 8. Yeah, I mean, statistically awful draws there. For that one, for sure. And our first loss was really similar. We kept double island, 2 mana blue spell, 4 mana blue spell, 3 mana white spells, and did not hit the plains for a while, so that really slowed down the hand. Not only that, we drew like double white spells that were super uncastable, and some more 5 mana stuff to just clump the hand up. I think that's just the number one thing of the day. Some awkward variance on this one, which is going to happen. I think this deck is reasonable. The first game of Magic, I might have been able to play out a bit differently. I don't think we probably win if I play it better, but we might have been able to get another turn or two. But that final battle was just gross. Gross draws, and that is Magic for you. That is a big part of Best of One Sealed. That is a big part of these Arena Directs. You got to be ready for the rough runs, and it is what it is. We just move on, open another sealed pool, do better tomorrow. But for now, that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and are interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more on your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.